Praise the Lord. For today's short meditation, I want to turn your attention to the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 6, verse 1 through 4. Be careful not to do your acts of righteousness before men to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by men. I tell you the truth, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Today I want to speak to you about what the Bible talks about giving to the needy or helping the poor. Now, this passage that I read from Matthew chapter 6 verse 1 through 4 is an excerpt from the famous Sermon on the Mount, a preaching of Jesus Christ. So here Jesus speaks to a set of Jewish people, and he talks about a set of people who would give to the needy or would help somebody and immediately go to the synagogues or their temples or their place of worship, and they would make an announcement of their works or their deeds. So he says that these people were hypocrites, that is to say, they were giving to the needy because they wanted to show off to the people that they were generous. So Jesus says that whenever we give to the needy, we should not be giving it to show people how generous we are or how thoughtful we are of them, but then we have to give to the needy to help them genuinely. And when we do that, we have to give it in secret, in such a way that only us who are giving and the others who are receiving the favor should know, and the third person should not know about it. Now, the Bible gives so much importance about giving to the needy or helping the poor. In James chapter 1 verse 27, we see James speaking of the religious obligations, and then he says in verse 27, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. So here he says that this is a religious obligation to look after the orphans and the widows who are in distress, or to look after the needy. And then again in James chapter 2 verse 14 through 17 we read, "What good is it, my brothers, if a man claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save him? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to him, 'Go, I wish you well, keep warm and well fed,' but does nothing about his physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." So here we see James writing about faith without actions being dead. So it is not enough that we say that we believe in Jesus and that we follow Jesus and that we believe that Jesus saved us, but then we have to show it in action also. We have to follow the footsteps of Jesus, and we have to follow his commands of helping the poor or helping the needy. And when we do that, we are not supposed to be showing off, but we have to do it genuinely. And again in Proverbs chapter 21 verse 13 we see that if we do not help the poor when we are in need of help, then we wouldn't get any help. So it is the concept of kindness going around in circle. If we are kind to someone, somebody else will be kind to us someday. And then we don't have to worry that we do not have much to give, because in Luke chapter 3 verse 11 we see that if one of you have 2 sets of clothing, give one to somebody who does not have it. So even the little that we have to give it to those who are in need. And especially in this time of pandemic, when people have lost their jobs and have lost their financial statuses, if we are in a position to help somebody at least one person. I encourage you today, give to the needy and do it in secret. Help the poor, help the needy, and make this society a better place to live.